Welcome ladies and gents, my name is Curci and this is the review for Batman Arkham Knight. Growing up, Batman was by far my favorite superhero, and considering that I have never before played any of the other previous Batman games, Arkham Knight would be the first time that I would ever get a chance to step into the boots of the Caped Crusader, and I can honestly say that I was not disappointed. Arkham Knight is the third game made by the developer Rocksteady, and they captured the essence of the Dark Knight perfectly. Rightfully voiced by Kevin Conroy, the world's greatest detective comes to life in this final installment in the Arkham series. In fact, all of the voice acting in this game is well done. The game takes place in an abandoned Gotham on Halloween night. The city was evacuated after Scarecrow threatened to release a toxin that would cover the city. This leaves the city open for some of Batman's most notorious enemies to do as they wish. Enemies like Two-Face, Penguin, the Riddler, and many more. As Batman, you must regain control of the city and stop Scarecrow before he can release his toxin. While it may seem like a giant plot hole on the part of Scarecrow to want to gas the city but then warn the residents first, the game does actually explain this plot hole away as you progress in the story. Early on, you quickly discover that Scarecrow isn't working alone. He is teamed up with a mysterious figure known as the Arkham Knight, who is leading a militia force that moves in to take control of Gotham. The story is one of the strong points of the game. As Batman works to track down both Scarecrow and the Arkham Knight, he will encounter some notable characters like Robin, Alfred, Nightwing, Catwoman, and Oracle. The story also became very unexpectedly emotional at times and even had deeper, darker tones. This is a perfect fit for a Batman game. Batman isn't a superhero that arrives at a scene to stop a bank robbery and then receives a pat on the back for a job well done. There is darkness to the character, and the game does a great job of complementing those traits. The city of Gotham is a decent-sized open world, and the game provides you many tools for you to navigate. Batman can glide and use a grappling hook to move around, or he can use the Batmobile. The Batmobile is the newest mechanic to the series, and while the controls in both driving and combat may be a bit rough, you do get a better handle on things the more you practice. However, I would be lying if I said I was a pro at handling the Batmobile even now. A big part of the gameplay with the Batmobile is combat. By holding a button, the Batmobile can turn into a tank and be used to fight against enemy drones. You have three major weapons at your disposal: your main cannon to use against tanks, a Vulcan gun to use on infantry, and missiles that lock onto enemies. Later on, you can even unlock the ability to hack enemy drones to fight for you. While the tank combat wasn't the highlight of the game, I did actually enjoy these sequences, once I had figured out how to control the Batmobile, that is. But then there are other missions that involve a car chase or even stealth. These are the areas that I stumbled. Sneaking around a single Cobra tank to destroy it was easy enough, but when the game introduces more than 3 Cobra tanks to take out, I started getting frustrated. During chase sequences, I would often misjudge a turn and slam into a wall, or just simply crash head-on into a building. It then became a challenge to catch back up with the enemy that I was pursuing. Even some of the Riddler's puzzles could get annoying with the not-so-great controlling of the Batmobile. Still, like I said before, you simply can become better with practice. When not in the Batmobile, Batman can choose to fight against enemies using melee attacks or take out enemies quietly using stealth. This is the aspect of the gameplay that Arkham Knight nails. When in combat, Batman uses a basic attack, but can also counter enemy attacks and use combos that can be unlocked by spending upgrade points you gain from completing missions. There are also a variety of gadgets that can be used. The Bat Claw can be used to disarm enemies, smoke pellets for a smoke screen, explosive gel to destroy weak walls or to stun enemies, a disruptor to disable or sabotage enemy equipment. These are just a handful of the gadgets that Batman can use. It's a fantastic system that many games are beginning to mimic. In my opinion, I never felt more like Batman than when I was suddenly appearing behind enemies, quietly taking them out and grappling away before other enemies even realized what happened. Carefully setting up traps and luring enemies to them was all just part of the fun. I couldn't get enough of it. There was also the detective mode that can be used to highlight enemies, map out vent paths, and so much more. There was also another new mechanic added to the game: fear takedowns. By taking out enemies quietly, you unlock the ability to use a fear takedown. While undetected, Batman will swoop in and instantly take out enemies one by one. The more you level up this ability, the more people that you can take out. It was a very cool way of transitioning from stealth to combat. Even in some areas, you can utilize the environment to your advantage. With so much depth to just the combat scenarios, this aspect of the gameplay stands above anything else in the game. This is of course an open world game, so the game needs more than just a story mode to work. Arkham Knight does side stuff well enough to be good, but could have been better in some respect. As you progress in the game, you will discover more side quests to complete. Most will end with Batman taking down one of Gotham's most wanted, but I felt that the missions leading up to them were very cut and paste. When working to take down Penguin, Batman will always follow a van to a weapon cache, team up with Nightwing to take out the bad guys and destroy the vault. Once you do this so many times, the last mission that you do will be to take down Penguin. When going after Two-Face, Batman will arrive at a bank that is being robbed and take out enemies quickly before reinforcements arrive, and then Batman has to shift from a loud approach to a quiet one. If you do this so many times, you will take down Two-Face during the last mission. It was just too similar, and after doing those missions so many times, you start needing to convince yourself to take a break from the awesome story and do some side stuff. I just wish that the game had put more effort to flesh out the extra stuff with a better narrative element to it than just doing the same thing over and over. That's not to say it was bad, it just had some room for improvement. Don't take my highlight on some of the down points as me saying that Batman Arkham Knight is bad, because it is anything but. I actually highly recommend people experience Arkham Knight. It's a blast to play. From the combat scenarios to the story and characters, the game is elevated to being something awesome. It's truly a well-made game that I highly recommend to everyone, especially Batman fans. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.